right. Well, that was a pretty good connection. Wonder if the kids are with Mark right now. Which I don't know. It's a pretty good prayer connection, though. Yeah, that was. I sat and watched. My dreams are always pretty much stupid. Yeah, I'm in the corridor of this will never end, and because like when you watch those Joe Rogan videos, what Mel Gibson said about the Abrahamic Bible, the Ethiopian Bible, blah blah blah. It's like, guys, you're just scared of being tortured because of tribalism, and the torture that goes with tribalism through sexual violent cult conflict because of reprisals and so forth, and Patriot and hey, look, it's Jason Isaacs, it's Lucius Malfoy, right? And so you guys understand that dysfunction perpetuates itself. When you an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, when you do all that kind of crap. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth is more like, like Jesus said, if you insult them and then you offer them the other cheek, it's really taken out of context because you have people that are extremists. You're dealing with Romans, you're not dealing with Hebrews, I didn't mean to insult you. Please accept my apology. If the person is sincere, they won't slap you. If the person is insincere, like I said, Jesus loves, and then you offer him the other cheek and then you snap him off at the fucking elbow there. And so you got to understand what you're dealing with. You're a human being, you're not an animal. Right? Like when ants or other kind of, those kind of organized movements of take it down, mosquitoes. Too much, you as a human being, you learn how to bring balance, harmony, understanding, not go spray poisons on it, but make sure you have a very healthy environment. And then the mosquitoes have a part of the immune system things. You got to live with them and tolerate it. When you're out of balance when the mosquitoes become too many, it's like roaches and other things like that. When you're out of balance, you can tell by the bugs. Okay. And so when you get in balance, you have a better relationship dealing with the bugs. In certain areas, you have the bugs react. You have different critters you got to deal with. Here, we got more like black widows and what are those guys? Scorpions and stuff like that. Okay. In North Carolina, you got sand fleas. Oh God, the sand fleas and the mold okay. But there are certain things you got to work with. You got to deal with. You got to learn how to work with it. Your hair, if a lot of people don't like, are you kidding? You always had great hair. It never got dry. It was always, I was like, God, if I had long hair in North Carolina, I swear I'd have the greatest hair days, right? No, seriously, you get, because there's a lot of moisture and your hair gets all, and when you have wavy and you have very thick, nice, wonderful hair that the women come up with Southwest Airlines and always touch and stuff. And that was in Phoenix, right? With pollution and dry, So you can only imagine if I had my long Jesus locks in North Carolina, women would have lost their minds, right? But it's just crazy. But you sit and you watch those things and you see that terror in them, like with Joe Rogan and Mel Gibson, is from years of this kind of dysfunction being pervasive, like Hamlet and Horatio and Denmark and stuff. And so E2 birthday, Caesar and Brutus back there. So this is years and years and years of dysfunction, and aggressive, violent dysfunction of people acting like animals when they should be acting like human beings. And the standards of human behavior, are rare. And then they'll never happen. It's like, that's because you got bad brain chemical, you got brain injuries, you got biological and psychological conditioning over thousands of years that as soon as like Judah Krishnamurti talked to you, if you radically change and apply the physics of the Lord's Prayer and then go to Psalms and Proverbs, okay, there will be, and you'll have to set them down at, we ain't doing that no more. We ain't doing this no more, and take the piece of fry bread and tear it in half. And, I can feed you all. There's going to be a fry bread riot, right? See, you got to eliminate a lot. And this is pervasive because you see it when you go look at the mythology in the people that were here before the migration of the Valhalla, and all the wackadoodle shit, right? So it's brain damage that causes these extreme reactions. Why we have this Nonsense. California stop Nick Shirley sparks backlash. Severe overload. Watch out, here comes this thing. You should never violate your restraining order. And what's this, Tom Burke? I've talked with the president about, and all this bullshit, all this insidious, irrational, attention-seeking bullshit. All the stuff about the UFO people are all dying. And NASA, if you knew it was up there, you'd be scared too. Why? Life's eternal and grace is infinite. Why would I be scared? I don't like to be tortured by assholes. Don't be an asshole. Then you won't torture anybody. Okay, but we have a long time of this, human beings acting like animals, brain chemical addictions, or, it's reaction, fear, aggression, people that get pleasure from, I don't understand people that get pleasure from taking something from someone else that they don't want to lovingly share with them. Okay. You don't want to seduce a woman, you want to be worthy. I choose you, Aladdin, right? You want to be worthy of her adoration. I was listening, they put a thing on there of Ella Fitzgerald, Stairway to the Stars and DeLovely, Yeah, you want that. I have a huge crush on that woman. I look at those young pictures of her because I remember my Rocky and those lips, and oh my gosh, And I have this ginormous crush. If I was younger and I would have had a young, or be like, what, you have a crush on Ella Fitzgerald? Yeah, why don't you? Like Mike with Lonnie Anderson and me with Lola Falana. Why you crush on Lola Falana? Why do you have a crush on Lonnie Anderson? I don't know. You're not answering the question. Yes, I am. Okay. You like Lonnie Anderson? I like Lola Falana. Okay. That's the reason why. I don't have to give you a reason why I'm attracted to someone. You should just understand why you're attracted to someone and think, why? Okay, because I look like you, I should be attracted to women that you are attracted to. Okay, well, how come you're not attracted to Ella Fitzgerald? How could you not be attracted to that voice? And those lips are amazing. I know they are, because I've kissed Raquel, and they were wonderful. We could never stop kissing. We were always fighting and then making up, and it was fun. Break up to make up, that's all we do. First you love me, then you hate me. It was a total pain in the ass. Until we ended up in the bedroom. Then it was but this still was a pain in the ass. Because we talked 20 years later and not a lot had changed. Well, what do you expect? We were talking over Facebook. A bunch of jealous. It's just like, hey, look, it's the next line of Gordon B. Hinckley and Ezra Taft Benson. Some of them are brown women, right? Forgive, dead, and trespass. Love one, eternal, faithful peace. Your head is so firmly entrenched up your ass. I don't think all the king's horses and all the king's men could ever pull your head out of your ass ever again. Okay? Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. Boy, your ego is the worst of them all. It sure seems like that, man. Guys, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Like Gabe with Daniel. Fear not. In the future, we live the Lord's Prayer worldwide. My uncle, he does it, yeah. Uncle Earl. Say uncle. It must be. Gabe doesn't even believe. Gabe and Mike have brain damage. They don't believe it's happening. Okay? No, when Gabe goes to talk to Daniel, I go around the pool table, and he thinks, the spirit of Charles Dickens' Jesus is doing it through Jim Carrey. Come and know me better, man. Oh, shit, we suck again. It's the eternal sunshine of the spotless fucking mind at the majestic, you see? Throw the salt over your shoulder. Kick his ass, sea bass. Okay, manly love. Oh, no, we're at the truck stop. John Denver's full of shit, man. You're in Nebraska. You're not in Colorado. Guess he'd rather be in Colorado. Nebraska's kind of flat, guys. Yeah, a lot of cornfields and stuff. Some people like that. Some people don't like the mountains as much. Some people, one thing that a river runs through it, that's always nice. River and the rain in the valley of the Rio Grande. You don't have a lot of fresh water. You don't have a lot of agriculture. People starve, they fight, they kill, they become Cossacks, they go train and become the best raider, transhumance raiders and stuff. And you'll find people are still very transhumance to this day. My dad's Tina. Okay. She's very transhumance. You get it from Europeans that have done it for thousands of years. You go summer in the Hamptons and you winter in Miami Beach. Tina's wintered in Tucson and summered in Colorado for as long as I've known her. That's transhumance. Raiders, corporate raiders, there's a difference. In order to attain that type of lifestyle, you have to be in that athletic mode, our team's going to win mode, we move from places. So people are still transhumance. What we have to get with that across is that, when the movement, if the movement is necessary, if you can do it in an ecologically friendly way without being a raider, maintain balance and harmony and understanding, there's nothing wrong with people being traditional, movers and shakers. Shake your money maker. Money ain't real. Stop it. Get off the pole, Lopez. Jenny, I swear. No, you don't change her. You just love her the way she is. If you can't, I don't want to go back and forth from Las Vegas to New York with it. No. Go marry somebody who does. Hey, Alex Rodriguez is open again. He's free again. There you go. Hey, Ben's available now, and you're living the Lord's Prayer. You'll be lots easier to tolerate one another. There you go, right? So you just got to get. It's like, no, I'm not into that. I'll light the fire. You put the flowers in. No, don't put the flowers in the vase. Leave the flowers in the garden. Leave the flowers alone. Stop chopping the flowers and asking for money for them, you insane socio-psychopaths. You transhumance raiders. There's some Tuscans raiders in the third fucking turn. Get the kid out of the vehicle that kills people and kills the children and kills it. Stop it. Stop gambling. You damn George Lucas Skywalker Ranch psychopaths. You're crazy. Live long and prosper. Oh no. Commander Taggart, you saved us! Let's time travel to correct one single mistake. Let's not make the single mistake of wanting to time travel because we're selfish. We already did that. I know, let's fix it. Let's not do it anymore. Like that shit. What the fuck is that shit? The hell is that shit? That is so anti-Quran, it's almost like, what? That is totally anti-Quran. He told them not to do any of that shit. He told them that stuff was all opulent and destructive to the beauty of the creation of God and disgusting. Everybody, oh, look at that magnificent architecture and all that stuff. Inagata Davida. That's all I got to say to you. Inagata Davida. Okay? So y'all piss me the hell off. You don't want to piss me off. It's like pissing off Abraham and Solomon and David and Jesus, and you're pissing off the wrong person. The person that some other girls are feeling your head with jive. Now you're acting like you don't know that I'm alive. You better wake up before you wake up. And what the hell's this shit? Who invents all this crappy plastic shit? It's tomorrow's garbage. And it all is garbage. Okay, you share a caregiving accordingly. Have you seen the ruins of the Pope Revolution? Those fuckers had a bunch of conquistadors that betrayed the truth of the words of the Lord. Okay. But when they got the natives there and the guys from the church that tried to do right, built that church, they built it to last. You ever seen the ruins? They didn't. That church was big. It was big for its time. It definitely was. And it was built to last. And they burned the roof off, but that was about it. The walls were thick and strong. A lot of the ruins in northern New Mexico are like that from the Spanish when they came. And after the Pope revolt, and they said, no, we're gonna Solomon this, we're gonna David this. They believed the stories. The Apaches did too. You come and you tell us the truth, and they know how truthful it is, and they know how good it is in you, right? Or in the plains, hua, right? And so, when you have good people in the fold, more a man than I, knee high, okay? He the man, okay? When you have good people in the fold, okay, and they have good examples, everybody can understand the true meanings behind the Ten Commandments, behind the pillars of faith, behind the Lord's Prayer, behind Psalms, behind Proverbs. The source of Psalms and Proverbs is faith and intimate glory. eternal, faithful, the truth of our creation and the eternal, faithful love and the obeying of natural laws to balance harmony and respect one another with empathy of it, and stuff like that. See, there's some of the architecture, stuff. This stuff, you got to understand, the painting and stuff is to make it look pretty because it's drab and it's piled on top of each other, and it's this torture. Okay, you see all that, and they make it look nice, and it's like, yeah, let's repaint the places where we've been mass murdered and shoved into bars. And Billie Holiday was raped into drug addiction to the death. This place is like a church to us, like the tombs of Egypt with the rocks and killing 5,000 people to be gods of the sky with the. Some religions just need to be abolished from the face of the planet. And if you want to leave a skeleton of the monument to remind you never to fucking be that living, that Frankenstein again, go visit if you need to. No, I don't need to go visit the fucking pyramids. I don't need to go visit the Stifle Tower. I don't need to go visit the great ecological debacle of China and Mongolia. I don't need to visit none of that crap. I'm intelligent. I'm faithful. I'm brave. I'm kind. I'm gorgeous. Thank you. You're welcome. Kiss myself, right? Say, oh, that's pretty. Those are flowers. That's pretty. And Matthias got to pay their bills. No, you don't have to pay your bills. If you take a pretty picture, we spend too much time looking at pretty pictures and not enough time doing camera 1, camera 2, camera 1, camera 2, do a sex scene. You ain't got to go home, but you can't stay here, right? Happy birthday, Mr. President, right? She was a babe. She'd be Abraham Lincoln. Okay, do you understand? Where's my Tia Carrera? Gosh, I feel like Sean Connery on Black Rain. It's just never going to stop. I don't let that bother me too much. Life's eternal, grace is infinite. I clean this fucker up with the help of the Kamali faithful throughout eternity. And there's more faithful people in the future than there is even in the past. So, and in the future, they have all the computer and the technology stuff that they're using to continue to fuck us through their brain chemical addiction today. But in the future, we shall overcome. Right. So, I'm feeling all right. Feeling all right. Not feeling that good myself. Let's go save the whales. Okay. Forgive debt and trespass, love one, eternal faithful peace. If you need to do some whale saving, you'll have the resources you need to do it properly. And you may just find out that what you're doing intelligently as a human being in balance and harmony and understanding is saving the whales without having to get a project together to get a bunch of Jacques Cousteaus to give their time away to pay. Hey, pay attention to me. I'm fixing everything with science. Oh, no, she blinded me with science. Okay, do you understand? Cruella de Vil, if she doesn't scare you, no evil thing will. She's like a spider waiting for the kill. She thinks she's an animal. She's an evolutionist. Look, and after it rains, there's a rainbow, and all of the colors are black. It's not that the colors aren't there. It's just imagination they lack. Okay, don't let your imagination get the best of you. You've got an ego problem. Forgive debt and trespass, love one, eternal faithful peace. There you go. And then you don't have to sing for a bunch of mass murderers and designer COVIDness at the Kennedy Center. A man murdered for trying to stand up for the Lord's Prayer, but nobody talks about it. Okay, not even his own relatives. They have brain damage. Robert Kennedy Jr. has been brain injured really bad. No, it's because they think they can, because he's not the focal point of prayer to keep the technology, to keep us safe from Chinese technology, from the psychos that do just as bad of things to their eternal faithful father as the assholes here do. Okay, they torture me. They just don't, the brain they try to keep, okay, don't hurt the brain. We need the brain to protect us from their brain. No, the brain over there is also protecting them from themselves. Yes, gracious good shepherd. You get all these people, well, if we get rid of all the gracious good shepherds, then we can finally commit suicide and take everybody with you. Well, wouldn't it just be easier just to kill yourself? Then all that stuff. I want everybody. You want to watch the world burn and kill everybody and torture? You've been incarcerating people for how long? Go ahead. You're the bass player. Go to somebody else's group. Let's send him to Mars. See how he does on Mars. Okay. Remember that with Richard Branson? Put you in a pod and just... Nah, Richard Branson's afraid. He's not a terrible person. He's just very afraid of his own shadow. What he's basically saying is if you don't like it here, we could always put you in a pod and just let it go out. And so you could, if you want to float out there till you torture yourself to death and die like you do with other people, or you can press the self-destruct button. But either way, fly, be free. Catch a ride on the comet, catch a falling star and put it in your pocket. Basically what he was saying is if you don't like planet Earth and you don't like what was given to you by the glory of God to love each other through having children through holy covenants, we could always put you in a space pod and let you blow yourself up in space and pigs in space, and just try to get your spirit free from having to be a soul for the temple of the body. We could arrange that now. We have the science to do it. Yahweh. Is basically what Richard Branson was talking about. And I was like, yeah, I concur. I feel that. But doesn't that seem like a lot of extra melodrama and punching holes in the ozone for another, hey, ego tripping. I think I'm Superman. I'm Kryptonian. Let's make shit up. Okay, here we go. I'm better than you. And that's where we have the problems, is all the people that are constantly comparing themselves to other people want to be better than the people that are better than them. And you can't be better than me, but you can be as good as me. It's just the thing about it is like time and service. No, you can't. Okay, you're just going to come to terms with it, but now you can be as good. But I want to be better. Your comic book sales ain't good here no more. But you're a really good guy. You're not having sex with comic book artists, and then you found out Priya had sex with her boyfriend. Oh, shit. We suck again. Don't worry about it. It's Pascal's wager, What you perceive as romantic love isn't love because you're not living the Lord's Prayer. So she'd just be sexually procreating with another. To stay alive, I will find you. And life is eternal, and grace is infinite. Eternal wretchedness sucks. Okay, do you understand it better now? You're going to have obnoxious kids at New Mexico State and University getting my face. And, Pascal's an idiot. It's like, does anybody know she knows that she needs to probably clip her nose hairs? I have a thing. Do you feel, that's all I could think when she was being obnoxious to me. The cute little Christian kids were excited that I was kicking her sideways and her professor, but they didn't help because they kept telling me, well, Jesus is still God and you're still a crazy man who thinks you're Jesus. Okay, God's omniscient, omnipotent, right? Okay, so who keeps telling me that Jesus is God? You do. So who's the crazy man who thinks they're Jesus? Oh, that would be you, right? I'm doing the same thing to you that I did to her. You want to clip your nose hairs? Okay. Here you go. Okay. If you're short, you're like Leonard. You don't think anybody can see up there, right? Okay, so it's like, what's going on here? What's going on here? It's like, no, it's just, no, if you feel it's healthy to have nose hairs, have nose hairs. If it's unappealing to some people, then they're not the type of person that you want to have a holy covenant with, right? But if you're Amy Fallafaro and you got long nose hairs and Sheldon's all right with it and doesn't turn himself into a woman surgically, well, then it'll all work out. But if you're paying your bills to stay in hell because you don't want to live the Lord's Prayer, because you think Psalms and Proverbs are a joke and you don't adore the Gospels like Pascal, you'll never be as intelligent as Pascal because you'll never be humble enough to grasp the true essence of your existence. Yahweh. Okay, here we go. And here we go again. Right? And so... it's too late to turn back now. Everybody, past, present, future, the psychotic breaks that are going on with like all the right-wing conservative Christians that have tortured me in this valley through my family. They're going to stay in that psychotic break because they don't want to be wrong. They don't want me to be right because it's my family always, you're going to be sorry when you die and you go to hell and I go to heaven. It's like, no, I'm not. Why? Because you annoy the hell out of me here. Why would I want to live next to you eternally in the clouds? Like, could you kick him off the cloud, Jesus? Because he's really pissing me off. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Jesus. Okay. Thanks, bro. Good kick. It's good. Goal, right? So you're like, what? We don't pay our bills. There are no bills in heaven. There's only freedom of the commands of Jesus Christ. And the only freedom is truth and faithful love. And that's the commands of Jesus Christ. And if you don't believe in Jesus Christ, you have no faith in God. And then you always tell me Jesus is God and he's got a magic place waiting for you, for all the child molesters that ask for forgiveness because you turn people into prostitutes because you're too scared to live the Lord's Prayer because you're afraid of being murdered by all the perverts you go to church with. Wow. Anybody want to get together and make a movie in El Paso or Las Cruces about crazy people that kill people over money and say they're better than the religious hypocrites? Huh? Let's put a satellite up in the sky. Let's better than that. Let's build a big thing over the freeway so all the poisons stay in there with the people driving the cars instead of the little kids playing above the poison where it comes out and then get trained to be the people in the cars that die in the poison in the tunnels. But you have to get the proper filters to survive it because we're still charging extortion to live here. Wow. Okay, why don't you just forgive debt and trespass, love one, eternal, faithful peace, and then restore the ecosystem of El Paso instead of trying to think what you're doing is confunction junction with your nuts. Money's not real. Who's going to pay for this $20 million? Jesus paid for your sins by giving you the commands of the Lord that you've ignored for 2026 years, and you're still doing it. And now you're on TV asking for more money to get elected to say, hey, I don't want my children to inherit this debt. You inherited the debt when you denied the Lord's Prayer day one, year one. Whoa, here I am, Redeemer, Redeemer, Redeemer. Maybe you should read some other forms of religious dogma through comic book sales and say, hey, this stuff correlates and it's okay, so it's based on reality and not fantasy. You got it. Tribalism sucks, yes, and so does NASA, right, because they use tribalism to stay in business. You'd have to be an idiot not to figure that one out. Just because their kids are institutionalized to be nice in public and have dreams to be, dreamer, you're nothing but a dreamer, please tell me who I am. And then they grow up and then everything goes to shit and it's you're going to go visit a nearby tower and throw yourself off alone again, naturally. Okay, stop it. It's matrimony. Stop it. What's in a kiss? Don't have a bag of silver while you kiss me. Get out of here. Okay, so guys, we're correcting the technology, come all ye faithful, eternally through, there are some of you that have relatives in the future. I don't know. Jesus doesn't tell me who survives it. He just tells me, he gives me Suzuki, you focus, Lord's Prayer. You don't think that way, Lord's Prayer right now, today, right now, Lord's Prayer, perfect, deliverance from evil. Then you do the commands of your Father, live perfect life with perfect people, living perfectly faithful, perfectly mature, not trying to replace God with their ego. You focus. I'm like, yes, receive it, pull it, cut it. I love you too. You're the best. I love DJC. I love him. Thanks, Senya Sin. We'll make sure that nobody like you is chemically poisoned by complete fucking assholes and then monologued over and then has all the assholes build robots to try to keep themselves from the other asshole roboter who monologues the man like Confucius because he thinks he's better than him because he's going to use lie to manipulate people with money and technology. Okay, love you guys very much. Hey, farewell, my concubine. Peace out.